All right, Steelers lose 2017 to the Cowboys. Am I surprised? Not really. It's yet another Tomlin game, right? Look, there was absolute failure on all aspects of this game today. Quarterback, head coach, offensive coordinator, running back, line, defensive line, edge, safety, everything, slot corner, everything. I could spend all night talking about the flaws with this team, but today I want to focus on two problems that I have with this team. Let's start with the quarterback, Justin Fields. He had a bad game. Let's call it what it is. He had another bad game. And am I shocked? No. I saw a lot of people calling Justin Fields a franchise quarterback after that Indy game. I'm like, he had a couple good drives, but that first half was bad. He choked in the final drive of the game. It's like, really? Franchise quarterback? You're calling him a franchise quarterback? He wasn't a franchise quarterback in Chicago. He has yet to prove himself as a franchise quarterback here. Maybe I'm being brutal, but I'm okay with that. I'm very careful with the term franchise quarterback. The last dude I called a franchise quarterback absolutely burned me. I spent the better part of 2023 calling a mediocre at best quarterback a franchise quarterback. Fields ain't there yet. Maybe he can grow into it, but we've been saying that nonsense for the last 4 years. I said at the beginning of the year in my Justin Fields video, in a few years, do I think Justin Fields is going to be the guy? No. And he's continuing to prove that today. He had a couple good games this year, but look, at the beginning of this game, Justin Fields looked okay. He looked more decisive with the football, but that first quarter alone, he had he left a lot of room for improvement, in my opinion. He missed a throw to Connor Hayward down the left sideline. A lot of people were praising him for that throw. Hit Connor Hayward in the hands. Connor Hayward should have caught it. And yeah, I agree. Connor Hayward, that ball hits you in the hands. He should have caught it. But hey, can I also say, Connor Hayward had his man beat. Connor Hayward still had to dive for the football. And while he got his hands on it, if Justin Fields gives him a better ball to a wide open receiver, he's catching that in stride for a touchdown. That's a play that would have been the difference in the game. Later on in that same drive, Justin Fields had a Darnell Washington wide open down the seam. Didn't throw the ball with touch. We're talking about year 4. That's a ball you got to have if you're a franchise quarterback. Got to put a little bit of air on that ball. Give your 6'7" receiver a chance to catch that. Those are two plays that should have been touchdowns. And even the Darnell Washington play, arguably, you would have at least been able to say, hey, he got us into the red zone. The Connor Hayward one should have been a touchdown. You may say, hey, that's on Connor Hayward. Justin Fields is innocent there. No, he's not. No, he's not. Franchise quarterbacks make that throw. Joe Burrow makes that throw. Lamar makes that throw. Pat Mahomes makes that throw. Russell Wilson probably even makes that throw. Let's be honest. I'm not calling him a franchise quarterback, but hey, that's a throw that would have been the difference in the game. That's a throw you need a franchise quarterback to make. We don't have that in Pittsburgh. We did see a lot of designed runs for Justin Fields. I liked that. I've been calling for the Steelers to do that the last few weeks, but it wasn't enough. It wasn't enough. It didn't. The design runs didn't make up for all the mistakes Justin Fields made. He's still fumbling the football, and a lot of people are saying, "Oh, Justin Fields got blew up on that play. He got blown up on that play." I know Isaac Seumalo got blown up on that one Justin Fields fumble. It takes a split second to go from here, having the football right here, to tucking it. It's that quick. Tuck the ball. You feel pressure around you, tuck the ball. It's not that hard. You shouldn't. Look, a lot of people are trying to defend Justin Fields there. I'm not. Justin Fields has been an absolute turnover machine, an absolute sack fumble machine the last, 3-4 years in Chicago. Still doing it here. He's terrible at protecting the football. Let's call it how it is. I'm really not open to any defense for Justin Fields there. He's still not throwing the ball away when there's pressure around him. He's trying to extend the play. It gets him in a lot of trouble. He takes a lot of sacks because of it. Gets tackled, gets hit because of it. He needs to learn how to throw the ball away because it's becoming costly to his team. There was a late ball to open George Pickens on 3rd down early on in the game. George was wide open on the corner route. Just stared him down. Waited. And by the time Justin threw the ball, George was already at the sideline. It's like, hey, Justin, you got to help me out here. I'm open. That ball is very late. Now, eventually in the first half, Justin Fields did go down with what looked like could have been a concussion. Kyle Allen comes in, throws a strike to Pat Freiermuth. Fields comes in, Throws a strike to Connor Hayward, 4 plays. Touchdown to Connor Hayward. You thought Connor Hayward would make up for it there. He got his touchdown. Got the Steelers, put the Steelers in the lead, 7-6. But other than that, man, Justin Fields had one other good drive the entire game? He's not good enough. He isn't good enough. But people spent the better part of the last 4 weeks calling Justin Fields a franchise quarterback. Really? That's a franchise quarterback to you? Okay. All right, that's a franchise quarterback to you. Look, what y'all saw in a franchise quarterback, I saw a guy who still struggles protecting the football. He threw a couple, by the way, he threw multiple interceptions today that got dropped. Y'all should go back and watch that. Couple balls that he threw should have been picked off by a Cowboys defender that didn't get picked off. Should have been. Y'all are talking about how he only has 1 turnover. Oh my God. He should have a handful more. Let's be very clear about that. All right. Hey, other than that, oh, Justin had a couple balls dropped by his receiver. Justin had a good play to George Pickens on 3rd and 4. Pickens dropped it. All right. What else? Justin had 1 good throw right there. What else did he do? He didn't do much. He ain't do much. This is the guy you're calling a franchise quarterback. I say, hey, I need to see a lot more before I call this guy a franchise quarterback. All right? I thought we might have a guy the first couple weeks, but I'm like, hey, that first half looked a little choppy. I need to see him improve on that. Hey, I need to see him build here. He's not cutting it. And Russ going in isn't going to fix the problems with this Steelers offense. Fields ain't good enough. He needs to be better. Is this loss entirely on him? No, this loss is on basically everybody. Najee ain't good enough. The O-line ain't good enough. George ain't good enough. Van Jefferson sure as heck ain't good enough. Nick Herbig went down. He was pretty good today. TJ was pretty good today. Beanie Bishop was awful today. Joey Porter was awful today. Minka wasn't that good today. And Landon Roberts came in and made a play. I look at the most important position on this team. Quarterback. Kind of the most important position in sports. Quarterback wasn't good enough today. Stop defending him. Y'all are so protective of this quarterback who hasn't earned the unconditional love and protection that y'all are giving him. Let's have some patience before we call this dude a franchise quarterback. Justin Fields ain't a franchise quarterback. And you know what? In 4 years, he probably ain't going to be the franchise quarterback. Because he ain't shown it in the first 4 years of his career. What makes you think he's going to show it the next 4 years? He's showing the same problems that he had in Chicago. Are we seeing the same thing? No? Okay, that's fine. That's what I'm seeing. He's a dude who's not able to beat a blitz, never has a plan for the blitz, always tries to outrun a blitz. He likes to stare down his receivers, rarely throws with anticipation. Not very good at reading the defense. He's better than he was in Chicago. He's taking care of the football better, but he's still not good enough. Be careful with the word franchise quarterback, because Justin Fields sure as heck ain't that. I'd like to see him get better. I want him to succeed, but we're at a point right now where Russell Wilson literally might be starting against Vegas next week. We've been, if you're paying attention to what he's saying in interviews, if you're paying attention with what's being said on TV today, the reporters in whatever conferences, discussions they've had with Coach Tomlin got about as close as they could to saying Russell Wilson starting next week without actually saying it. They kind of tiptoed around it. Hey, Russell Wilson's going to be good to go after this game against the Cowboys. By the way, these guys do have conversations with the head coaches just to get intel on things to talk about during the week. Tomlin totally told him, hey, we're expecting Russ to be playing this week if Justin Fields can't keep the job. Guess what? Justin Fields ain't kept the job. He ain't protected his job very well at all. Only thing he's done pretty well is not throw picks. Really, that's all he's done great. He's running okay, but I do believe, and I'd honestly call it a prediction at this point, that Mike Tomlin told the reporters in their pregame conferences, hey, if Justin Fields doesn't lock this job down this week, expect to see Russ in there. I think y'all can expect to see Russell Wilson in there against Vegas. And I don't think that's going to fix many problems either. Look, I've got my criticisms about Justin. I don't think Russ is fixing the problems with this offense. Now, let's talk about the other main focus I want to talk about on this game. Mike Tomlin. Oh, boy. Y'all know how I feel about Mike Tomlin. I was out on this dude in Houston last year when the Steelers were down 10 points They were down a couple points. I forget how many points, but the Steelers were down one score with 10 minutes left in the game against Houston. And they punted on 4th and 2. I was out on Mike Tomlin. Because this is a man who plays not to win games, but to not lose them. There's a difference there. When you play to win games, you play aggressive. When you play to not lose games, you play conservative. Guess what? Mike Tomlin plays conservative. He likes to run the ball when he should be passing. Man, all right. Hey, Mike Tomlin's a defensive head coach, okay? Now, I don't give defensive head coaches much grace in this league. Why? Because it's an offensive-driven league. The best teams are driven by offense. Teams win Super Bowls with a high-powered passing offense. And a high-powered offensive coordinator. You know what Mike Tomlin ain't? He ain't a high-powered offensive coordinator. You know what else he don't got? He don't have a high-powered offensive coordinator that can develop an electric passing game. Mike Tomlin's a defensive coordinator who doesn't value the offensive side of the football and believes you can win football games with defense and defense alone, so long that you protect the football. There's some truth to that. But that's not how you win Super Bowls nowadays. When you're a defensive head coach in 2024, I don't give you much grace because this is an offensive league where the best teams are powered by offense. Okay? Imagine it's all like a cake and the defense is frosting. You can't make a cake without how do I describe this? Imagine it's all like a cake. A cake is great with frosting, but you can't have a cake. You can't have frosting and no cake. Can't have a defense if you don't got the offense. You can't. If you're playing in a cake making competition, you ain't winning no competition with just the frosting alone. Think of the defense like frosting and the offense as a cake. Steelers don't got cake right now. They just got frosting. And their frosting ain't very good either. That's my problem. When you're a defensive head coach in 2024, your defense, your calling card needs to look good. You know what you can't do? You can't let Rain Dakota Prescott pick apart your defense. Oh, but D1, Devin, the Steelers defense had 3 interceptions today. Dak Prescott threw the ball away 3 times to the Steelers defense. Yeah, he also drove down the Steelers' throats like multiple times today. The Steelers' highest paid in the NFL defense let Rain Prescott drive down the throats and throw a game-winning touchdown. Hey, let's remember, Dak Prescott, he's an overpaid quarterback. He doesn't deserve the money he's getting. And you let that guy pick apart your defense. Hey, Mike Tomlin, you can't let that happen. 2 weeks in a row, you can't let your defense get picked apart by Joe Flacco and Dak Prescott. Especially if you're a defensive head coach. Like, if you're an offensive head coach, I can give you some grace because it's an offensive league. If you're a defensive head coach, your defense better be stellar. Because that's what you're getting paid to do. You just got a 3-year contract extension, Michael. Your defense can't look the way it did. And I think Steeler fans are finally starting to realize, hey, Mike Tomlin ain't cutting it either. I mean, hey, let's just look at the end of the half, right? Steelers had 50 seconds left. They're down 3. They get the ball back after the half, by the way. And what do? 3 timeouts? Oh, yeah, let's just run the ball 3 straight times to drain the clock out and go to halftime. That's your head coach, guys. That's your head coach. Look, let me be very clear about my feelings about this team. And it's been like this the last several months. The Steelers need a regime change. They need a culture change. The Rooneys ain't going to sell. So how do you get a regime change? How do you get a culture overhaul without selling the team? You change the head coach. You change the next guy. I like what we got in Omar Khan. He seems to be good at bringing in talent. By the way, let's get Devontae Adams. I like what we got in Omar Khan. Mike Tomlin ain't cutting it. He ain't been cutting it for the last 7 years. You'd think after 7 years of not winning a playoff game, Steeler fans would be critical about Mike Tomlin. No, they're not. Let's be very clear. Mike Tomlin's not a good enough head coach. He's not a good enough defensive coordinator. His defenses regularly choke away games. I thought we had turned a corner early on in the year, but nope. This defense is bad. Oh, Devin, it's injured. You got a defensive head coach. Like I said, I don't give you much grace there. Your defense needs to be good. That's what you're getting paid to do. You're paid to elevate lesser defensive players to a higher level of play. All right? I mean, what are we doing here? We're trying to get through 2024 with a run-first offense. By the way, the run game's not good at all, Arthur Smith. Y'all told me Arthur Smith was going to be great. That's a guy Mike Tomlin also hired. Mike Tomlin's got no coaching tree either. Mike Tomlin sucks at hiring offensive coordinator. Mike Tomlin sucks at developing quarterbacks. Mike Tomlin sucks with his NFL philosophy. He thinks you can win games just playing defense and protecting the football. That's not how it works nowadays. Not what the Mahomes is. Not what the Lamars is. Not what the Josh Allens is. Like, what are we doing? I went into this year, really? Russell Wilson? Justin Fields? That's your answer? Really? You can't develop a young quarterback. Russell Wilson's old and can't move. That's your plan? Really? Meanwhile, Kirk Cousins is absolutely dotting people up over in Atlanta. Oh, Devin, you can't sign a quarterback who just came off an Achilles injury. Why not? Your other two options ain't so good. Steelers are 3-2. Firmly second place in the division at this point. Because remember, Baltimore got a division win today, so they lead the Steelers in the AFC North race. When's it going to get better? You know what? I'll tell you when it's going to get better. It'll get better when the Steelers jettison Mike Tomlin. Let's be honest, they're going to have to suck for a year, specifically in 2025, because in 2026, we got a really high-level quarterback class. If we can jettison Mike Tomlin this year, suck next year, there's a lot of good. Nico Amaliava is a good quarterback. Actually, is he even coming out in 2025, the 2026 draft? 2024, 5, 6. Look, Nico Amaliava's coming out soon. Shadur Sanders is coming out next year. You're not going to be bad enough to get him. There's a really nice quarterback class coming out in 2026. Hey, man, it'd be nice to get one of those guys. Look, y'all know how I feel. You get a superstar quarterback. You bring him up to an NFL level, just like Jayden Daniels, just like Kyler Murray, just like CJ Stroud. You get an offensive coordinator who's good at integrating these young quarterbacks into the NFL. Pretty good at like building them up to an NFL level, doing things that they like, setting them up to succeed, basically. That's what Bobby Slowick does with CJ Stroud. That's what Cliff Kingsbury did with Kyler Murray. That's what Cliff Kingsbury is doing with Jayden Daniels right now. Jayden Daniels looks awesome. And the Commanders have a hope that Steeler fans can't even dream of right now. You know when things are going to change in Pittsburgh? It's when you get rid of the head coach and you try something new. Now, maybe the next guy ain't going to be it, but it's not about getting the next guy right. It's about setting a standard, because the standard freaking sucks right now. If you get rid of Mike Tomlin, you're telling Steeler fans, hey, we're trying to take a step forward. Mike Tomlin's doing good. We appreciate him. But we're trying to take a step forward. Because right now, Mike Tomlin ain't cutting it. He's got to get fired. What are we doing? Like, when are Steeler fans going to actually realize, hey, we can't keep trying to win football games like this. It ain't working. Like, right now, we're looking at a 7-10, 6-11 team the way we're playing. Plus, we're about to put Russ in there. It's like, oh my God, this team is so dysfunctional. You know when this team gets better? It's when you fire Mike Tomlin, you fire Arthur Smith, you fire Terrell Austin, you suck for a year, you get a really high-level quarterback that can elevate the players around him, something Justin Fields can't do, something Russell Wilson can't do, and you build for the future. That's when this team's going to get better. Like, if you truly believe you're winning a Super Bowl, if you truly believe the Steelers are going to have a top 10 offense with Mike Tomlin running the show, after what you've seen from Mike Tomlin in the last 20 years, you're fooling yourself. Straight up, you're fooling yourself. Justin Fields ain't good enough. Russ ain't going to fix the problem. Mike Tomlin's not good enough. And Arthur Smith was always the wrong offensive coordinator. I'm Devin Engel. Bring Doug Hodges back. Go Steelers.